Hello and welcome to Mac Trains. Thanks for joining me. It's a two-part video today, really. A few photos first of all, but basically two parts. First is a kind of overview of where I've got to. So that's the first part. That's really the main part. And if you want to stop at that, you're very welcome. The second part is how to, at least watching me do the thing itself, rather than showing what's been done, watching me do it, which I thought was a time lapse. Turned out it was a video, so I had to speed it up by 20-fold or something. So anyway, I'm sure you'll find it amusing if nothing else. Thanks again. Hopefully update soon. All right, then, overview time. Let's see. Done a bit of work on the hills. Bit of scenery. Bridge going in, road bridge. Bit more work and scenery over this side as well. And up to the curtains. So we'll start over here because that's what I think I started last. Just filling in a bit of scenery around here, ready for the back scene to go on. And that's going to get probably painted up, just covered just now with a grey sludge. It's made of a bit of green in it, but didn't really come through at all. But anyway, just a emulsion really, mixed in with a bit of acrylics. Probably shouldn't do that, but anyway. A little bit more here, just a bit of forming of, so I'm going to take away the really flat parts. And again on this side. So that's fairly, so far, fairly straightforward. Over here, rocks. So this is one version. This is just a bit of foam board and then some filler squeeze on top of it. Fix and grout, there you go, that stuff, not filler. Squeeze that on top, flattened it out, and then pressed a crumpled bit of tin foil onto it. You need to oil the inside of the tin foil or it'll just pull it straight away again, but if you manage to oil the tin foil, you get a reasonable effect, and once it's nearly dry, put a few more scorings in with a knife, just to give you a bit of rock. So that's then just sprayed over just now with a rattle can primer. That'll need some touching up, of course, but it gives, I think, a reasonable first effect. Now I've had an alternative on this side. This is just the foam board, and then cut. I've just flipped lenses. Hang on, and just sort of cut into it at certain angles. The technique. So I think that bit is probably more successful. I'm not sure. We'll see how that turns out. There'll be more greenery around these rocks, is what I'm thinking. Got my bridge in as well. Road bridge. That's going to come down into the town area. A nice bit of tarmac newly laid on that road bridge. The rest of the town is going to have much more scuffy looking roads, as you can see. I think that came out reasonably well. Now, what else? Yes, my method. Method is probably an ambitious word. Really, it's just scrunched up newspapers, which I then lay down dry as they are in roughly the right place and roughly the right shape. I then soak them, I soak them with a water spray first, and then soak them with a bit more with a brush to get them more malleable, more how I want them. And I lay the mud rock over completely dry in small sheets. And then I spray the mud rock with water on top, let a mist form so it's malleable, and then again just brush over the rest. So you get a fairly rough format, but this is all going to be covered up. This will be covered up with some bushes, some trees, but certainly some bushes, paint, flock, static grass, and some bushes. So the particular formation, some of you do 2 or 3 layers of mud rock. I don't bother with that. It's cheaper, but also you're not going to see this. It's going to become really largely covered up by what kind of goes. Same as down here, you have, if you like, originally this sort of thing dug out to give a bit of depth between the rails. But once it's actually covered up like that, that's the same. There's a drop there. You probably can barely notice it, but there is a slight drop between these rails. So I'm not too troubled by getting the finest finish possible. I'm just looking for the general effect. Yeah, so that's really what I've got to. One other little thing I'll show you in a minute, but there is a reason why there's all that tin foil. It's not just for the rock face, and I'll come back to that later. Over this side, I should have said, there's a little bit more here. We've got the road bridge in again, and this is now, there's a finishing piece behind there, and there's a fire escape at the side of Terrace and Co. Central Limited. Well, them, yes. So there's a few things, just taking things off the list. Okay, so here's the bridge I was working on, a little bit of detailing and coming out. Now this is the reason for the foil. This is a little corrugator that you 3D print, and hey presto. So if I can find out a way of kind of roughing it up and detailing that, that should be available soon, hopefully, for those who are interested. Now then, this is the non-time-lapse, like an idiot. So anyway, here it is. So yeah, just putting down the newspaper, then wetting it, then putting the dry cloth, plaster bandage cloth on top of that, and then wetting that. That's really all I'm working at here. And it's very quick, it's very simple. Like I say, if you were trying to get a pristine finish, if you weren't using static glass perhaps or so much cover, but you really see very little. I see very little point in spending vast amount of time on the underbelly almost of the scenery. Get it in the right shape, get the right position, and there we go. So that's that. What's next? Yes, move the other side. That's kind of painting up that rock face a wee bit. Just a little bit of acrylics there. And 3D printing, that's the bridge you just saw a minute ago. That's it getting washed and then cured, hopefully in a minute. Yeah, that's it, getting the second wash. And when that's done, you put it onto the curing station and you use the UV lights to cure it. Back over here, apparently. Anyway, yes, that's a bit more scenery could be done. Again, breaking up the flat areas, just cutting down some foam, using a craft knife and getting it in something that looks vaguely realistic, just to try and avoid the flatness of the flat. And that's really all there is to it. So yeah, I appreciate you sticking around this long. Like I say, this is a second part. It's just a filler, really. Oh, there we go. There's the curing. It obviously isn't going that fast in reality. Thanks for watching.